Okay, so this is it. We're here and we are ready to go, even though it feels like we're not ready, but we are. We're just going to go.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yep. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. I didn't even say what we're going to talk about. We're just going to start talking and then intro it as we go. So we're back officially with the next podcast.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. A lot has happened.
I was going to say a lot's gone on since the last time.
Everything we thought we were going to talk about then changed, and then changed again, and then changed again, and then changed again. And now it's a new version today, which is Monday, February 15th, day after Valentine's Day. And what are we doing? So this is a podcast not about our salons, but about all things around us in our lives. We're from a hair salon chain from Naples, Florida. For those of you that don't know, we're a family business. This is Alexi, my daughter. You'll hear more about her in a minute.
Hello.
I'm Rob Dellella, one of the owners of the company. What we're doing here is having conversations about things that are happening in our industry and things that are happening in our salons and in the business in general and in the fashion or hair end of things as well. To tell you a little bit about who we are, our company, Robert of Philadelphia Salons, is a 40-year-old company. We're just celebrated our 40th anniversary, third generation. I'm second, she's third generation, and her daughter and son are the fourth generation. You might see them sweeping hair on the floor every now and then. But we grew up here, or spent a large portion of our life in Naples and Southwest Florida. And there's a lot happening in this area. So we'll be talking about that and all things related to what it is that we do and why and how and, other things that come up along the way. Today, specifically, some things on the docket anyway. Let's see here. So there's a $15 an hour introduction to federal law, which they're reintroduced it as another, making it a mandate or a law that federal minimum wage be $15 an hour. So how that would affect us. Now, we're in Florida, and that law already passed for our state to be gradually implemented. So we're going to talk about how that will impact our industry and us. Talk about some things in the area, a record-breaking house that sold. I think we'll have a chance to get to that today too. And then industry-wide and gossip stuff. Anything else going on there?
My favorite part. I'm just kidding.
What do you have in that we might be talking about?
I still think you caught me off guard there.
I did. Okay. Well, you have something, but you're just not ready to talk about it.
Yeah,
now.
I was not. You did me off right a little. My mind just flooded with like 10 different things.
Okay. So one of the things that I think that, I don't know, if you're a salon owner or somebody in the business or in the industry, or even if you're not, if you're just in any business at all, one of the things that is different about our culture and our family and our organization is the way we do business. And I think that helps to separate us. And, to be in business for 40 years, it takes a lot. And I'm not saying we're experts in anything, because we're not. We are learning every single day. We are making mistakes and hopefully recovering from those mistakes and learning from them, and then shifting gears and doing whatever we can to get through the day and to create as much value for people, to have people love their experience with us, to have people love being a part of our family and coming into our family in whatever way, whether it's as a customer or as somebody who wants to work on our team or somebody who is making deliveries to us. Whoever it is, they just want to be a part or a piece of whatever it is that we have inside. And that's not dictated by any one of us. It's collectively our culture as a whole, like how we kind of interact and work together. We have 3 locations And I said this wasn't going to be an ad about us, and it isn't. I'm just really setting the platform
Saying who
for
we are, because
who
it's
we
hard to
are.
explain. You say, oh, hair salon, like chain of hair salons. What's a chain of sports club? Like who is that? And who we are, just so you understand it, as human beings. It almost is like our core values as how we were raised as a family and what we want to share with other people. And even though this business like runs in my blood, like I eat, breathe, and sleep Robert Philadelphia, but it's given me, and not just being a part of the family, but it's provided me with a purpose in life. And I want to give that purpose to other people, and it's made me feel empowered and like can do things that I never thought I could do, like empower other people and make other women's lives feel better, and women and men. And it's a pretty amazing, powerful thing to do outside of just being a hair salon. So that's
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah, and and just in distinguishing that, I think that gives the premise of the whole thing. Like, why are we even bothering with this conversation? Well, there is so much more that happens than just, literally it's, you're cutting dead hair cells off of somebody's head is what a hair salon is. The fundamental part of it is to move that, except for me, right? Mine are shit. Yeah, I'm one of the owners, right? I have no hair, and I don't know how to do hair. That's another byproduct of it. Okay, so there's another weird thing about the whole thing. How's this whole thing going to fit, right? But fundamentally, what is it that we do? What are we about? And how what do we do next? And like, how do we continue to be relevant, be wanted, be desired, be the place to be? Like, have people want this to be their hair salon for life? Like, why? What's the difference? So much of that is based on the culture and the heart of what's in the people that are here, the family of people that are here. And, we've been through a lot together collectively. So you'll learn more about that as we go through this journey together and this next podcast. And we have different people that we talk to and different topics that we talk about. So we can pick any one of these, but while we're on it, while we're on the subject of our culture, I just wanted to acknowledge some people because, anniversaries happen, and anniversaries meaning they're anniversaries with our family or within our company. And some people have found that this is the longest relationship they've ever had in their life. Is their relationship with Robert of Philadelphia, or whatever they've cultivated here, and they're being a part of it. So going up the line, I mean, there's a lot of anniversaries in the last 2 weeks or in the upcoming couple of weeks that are significant. And there are many people in our organization that have a lot of years. These are just a few that happen to be in the last week or in the upcoming week. And one of the bigger ones, she's not bigger, but she's got a lot of years anyway. You would never know it. About to, or just celebrated 39 years. 39 years.
And she's a beautiful woman that is about to have 4 grandchildren, and you would never guess. You would never look at her and be like, wow, she has 4 grandchildren.
Yeah, and there she is. If you're watching the video version of this, you'll see some picture and video of her. Diana, congratulations and thank you for 39 amazing years. You're an inspiration to so many.
Best laugh ever, if you ever want to laugh.
Yeah, I have to put some of that on there too. Let's see here. Now, it's funny. Maggie is celebrating a big anniversary, okay? So some versions of our software that tracks the years say 21 years and some say 24 years. And I remember with Maggie, so Maggie for many years thought she was a year older than she actually was until she found her true birth certificate. She found out she was a year younger, I think, than she actually was. So so there's always this year thing about her.
I hate
We don't
when
know
that
her true.
happens.
She went back a year. She got another year out of life. But happy anniversary, Maggie, from our village location. Let's see here. Okay, down at Bayfront, a fellow Philadelphian, 21 years for Lori, who's got the most beautiful, perfect family. I mean, they're just like how you would see in a fairy tale, the way she raises her children and the way they are as a couple and their whole family together. So she's an inspiration, a mommy inspiration too. So happy anniversary, Lori. Let's see here. All right, we're going back to, now we're down to 1 year. Javier, who feels like he's been here for a lot longer than a year.
I feel like he's been here forever. I can't believe it's only been a year.
If you've been to the promenade, you know who he is, and you've had a magical massage by Javier, head, neck, and shoulder massage. He's on his way to be a stylist, and well on his way, working really hard, just finished school. And
constantly learning and willingness to learn and get his hands and learn everything he can. He's going to be good.
Awesome team player. And celebrating 3 years from what lately has been behind the scenes, but also in front of the scenes and in all ways about it, is Becca. Happy anniversary. Becca was one of the first graduates, I guess, of the way we hire is, interviewing is kind of, I hate interviews. I hate the whole process of the interview process because it's very inauthentic. It's like you have to pretend that, you have to say all the good stuff. And even though you might be, have to embellish a little bit, you got to pretend that, like, you love it, they love it, I love it.
You're selling yourself as the business as well. Like,
sure.
You're selling us, they're selling us.
Yeah, I got to give the best points. I don't tell them the bad stuff.
We're going to give you whatever you want. Not necessarily, but, you have to sell us how great we are. And it's kind of just a bunch of bull crap.
I hate them. I bet, because then you end up hiring somebody who did really great in the interview, and 2 weeks later you're like, who is that person? I don't even know you. You're not the same person there. So we started after Hurricane Irma, 2017. We started doing interviews a little bit differently. We did them as a group, and I don't know what we called them, meet and greets or something. We used to do them a different way. And Becca was one of the very first in one of those meet and greets who we were so blessed to hire and have be a part of our family. And so she keeps adapting to new ways we're handling her position and how she operates things, because it's been from home since COVID and how we're operating. So if you call on the phones, you've spoken to her, even if you go to one of the other salons besides the Promenade. Happy anniversary, Becca.
Yeah, and Becca's been, she's been working from home, and she doesn't get a whole lot of human interaction besides her dog. So we have little group chats going on, and she keeps me informed about her day, because I feel like she doesn't get to talk to a bunch of other people besides you guys on the phone.
Yeah, that's
and our little group chats. So, but she's a good heart.
On our list also is one of the classic haircutters, one of the classic trained and precision cutters is Brittany. Happy 12th anniversary, Britt. Congratulations and thank you. And Britt's somebody who's come up in the program like so many have and been so successful, and is also a great mommy and a newer mommy. She has a baby that was born.
I think he's a year.
Yeah, right at the beginning of all this,
I think he just started walking
COVID stuff. So he's truly he was born before this. He was conceived before all this started, but he's been raised inside of this new mask world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy anniversary, Britt. Thank you. And of course, last but definitely not least, and he'll probably be on here on the podcast too, is the man of all things, and does a little bit of everything, including being Lisa's right hand, and also operations in many different ways down at Bayfront. David, happy anniversary. He's on 2 years already. That was fast. And Lisa said to me the other day that I was talking to those two about, I don't know, they were training somebody else or getting ready to train somebody else. And Lisa actually said it's one of the longest relationships she's had in her life. And if you know Lisa, you know what she's talking about with that. So her and David are in a relationship.
I missed that at first, and then I got it. But and what's funny is David's kind of taken the, after COVID, we changed everything up when we opened back up, and David just kind of got thrown in, and he's one of those people that just like adapted and was like, okay, I'm doing it. I got it. And it's just took the lead and is kind of can manage anything.
Yeah, and I mean, that's been the biggest challenge, I think, for everybody is these continual, or these, so many unknowns throughout this whole process, and it curveballs every day, like new ways that we have to figure out how to achieve or provide the service that we do inside of being safe, and, just a lot of things that have affected the normal routine. Obviously, I mean, everybody's going through it. We all know that. But the ability for the people that we have on our team to shift gears really quickly and adapt to unusual circumstances. We have an extraordinary group of people that literally, from moment to moment are willing and able to accept the reality, whatever that reality is today, like accept it, and shift gears and do whatever it takes to get to the next place, because it's not like it. I mean, people were arguing with, well, I wish we had, and I wish it was like this, and I mean, that's great to wish, but the reality is times are different. It's a different way. They had to learn how to cut hair with somebody's mask on. They had to learn a way how to put hair color on with the mask on, and how to, get around these things, and how to improvise in many different ways. So, being able to adapt and to shift gears.
Well, and I never thought, like, I remember I'm thinking back to, like, it was like March 14th. I remember it was right around St. Patrick's Day when when people started getting scared. We were still open, but we were cleaning, and you started making all these videos because nobody really knew what was happening. Like, I remember feeling and thinking, I'm like, there's no way we can have to close. I mean, this can't be that bad. When do you ever think something like that? It just seems so unreal. It was like you're watching a movie, and then all of a sudden it's happening. And you're like, wow, this is happening. So that's where you just really never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I've learned that within the last year. So we're all just trying to do our best to be here. And we're really blessed that we're here. We saw some other salons on a Facebook group that they're still closed, and I think it was like New Zealand or something.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed that we're here, and we've got to do whatever we can to change daily to make sure that we're providing the safest atmosphere while still providing that customer service. So constantly changing, and it's never going to be the same,
Yeah, we are blessed. We're so blessed to be able to be open. We're in Florida, and to be able to be in business and doing it safely. We haven't made up our own rules, or we haven't, we're not the seat to table of hair salons. We're just protecting people who come to our salons, whether whatever side of the scale you fall on, whether it's you believe in it or you don't believe in it, or you like it or you don't like it, whatever way it is, we have people in here who are the mothers, grandmothers, or children of other people, of other loved ones, and we want to do our best to make sure that people are taken care of. Now, we've been open. We've seen more than 11,000 people, or 11,000 salon visits since we reopened in May. On May 11th was a reopen date, because we were shut down for 42 days, and then we're lucky enough to be able to open back up with certain guidelines in place, which we have. And of those 11,000, we have no reported cases of any transmission within the salons. So, we've done the right things to, keep people distanced and to keep people safe. And I know outside of here they're being safe. So, doing whatever it takes. And there was something else I wanted to say about that, because you were talking about being able to do, so one of the things is, another thing is, a lot of people were shut in or not able to get to a salon, or go anywhere for that matter. They were being safe and staying on self-quarantine, or at least staying home.
A lot of people
to just be safe until the vaccines started rolling out, and this is their only contact, or their only place to come. So we want to make sure that experience is extraordinary. We want to make sure it's amazing. And today, I got a phone call right before we started this, and one of our locations right now they're booked, and we don't have we're not set up the way we ordinarily are, where we have a desk coordinator coordinating the flow at the front of the salon, and 2 associates at the back. And, initially we set it up so that there would be prepayment done, and the prepayment would happen to avoid having more people in the location, also to cut down on the number of transactions, with the interactions and transactions. So all that was handled. There's people spending less time in the salon. That was the original intent of that. So, the problem today is that they have 3 stylists there, but they're all fully booked. And, we've got to deal with being able to take care of guests fully that way. And we're not.
Well, still
right
providing that service, even at the beginning of COVID, it was easier because we had to make sure everybody prepaid, because we really weren't sure what we were doing. We weren't sure. We only had so many time slots available. It was just back to back of uncertainty, kind of, and now we're running into a whole new thing, because Naples, Florida right now is like booming. I mean, we've never had so many new guests. It's crazy. And here we are, everybody's kind of having to adapt, and I know it's hard, and I'm overwhelmed. But I mean, I guess it's easy to get stuck in that, like, oh my gosh, this is too much. But there's no better feeling than knowing when you have that guest that has been at home. Like, we had one guest here at the Promenade. She hasn't seen her family for a year, I guess. And so she comes here, and she's come to us for like 20, Kathleen Paparillo,
Love her.
She was so happy to see me. She was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you. You're like my family, so providing, knowing that we're still able to provide that to guests is no better feeling. So there's still going to be all those challenges.
Yeah, and that's a real core. That's something we're working on right now. Is the new process, like, how do we bring in new people? We've got to hire people, and we can't take people off the phones who know our system really well. Marina and Becca and Lexi, who know how to be booked, or how to set people up with the right stylist.
Interchangeably between each location. It's a lot more difficult. Like, when you're hiring people, we can hire people, and you can teach them the basic within the front of the house stuff, because a lot of people are prepaying. You can teach them, pre-booking, because there's other stylists around. If you have just somebody on the phone, you're then teaching them booking properly and knowing who does what. When you have so many different stylists and you're answering the phone between 3 locations, that's a lot of information to remember. And I feel like that's where a lot of booking errors used to happen, is because we would have people that weren't necessarily trained to, and then that creates even more issues. So it's like, it's this.
And to be able to put people with the right, put somebody with the right specialists, determining what hair type they are and what they specifically need. That's so important. You can't just be the next up on the docket to get your service. Like, oh, their column is open. They're available as a stylist. They should get whoever calls next. Well,
she's been here the longest,
or the newest, or got the most. And none of that matters.
No.
And the case is, we want to make sure that they love their experience. They're the right person, the right match, the right personality, the right hair type, or the right expertise in whatever area. If it's a pixie haircut, or if it's a color correction, or if it's a blonde specialist, whatever it is, to be able to kind of feel out who's going to be the best. So we can't just plug somebody in. So right now we're hiring, and we're going through the interview process. We're doing mini interviews on the phones, and
one more thing about the phones, because years ago, my dad's always kind of wanted to have people at home answering the phones. That's how I kind of came back a couple of years ago, was answering the phones at home. And COVID happened, and that's kind of what we had to do. Like, we didn't really have any other choice, because we were limited to the amount of people in the salon. And what that's enabled us to see is that even when I'm here and we're short on the phones and I'm answering the phones, what I notice, sometimes people want to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes on a phone call. And I want to give that guest, I want to know everything about them. I want to welcome them and make sure that we're able to, like, oh, you want a short haircut? Like, oh, that's exactly what you're talking about, Brittany, is perfect for you, and getting their background, who I can match, explaining how we're doing things here. There is a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and sometimes people on the phones, they want to spend time talking to people. So when you're up at the front on the phone and then you have somebody walk in and you also want to give that person the time of day, it's hard to manage both. So what this has enabled us to do is the person at home now they can spend that time and love and match that person with the right stylist.
Focus on that person, one-on-one, not have a bunch of different distractions.
Right, because how can you it's hard, and it's hard when you've got somebody's in your ear telling you, oh, we got to move this person down, and you're not even paying attention to what's on the phone because you're now listening to what's around you. So that's why it's been happening the way it is, and we're just trying to navigate and figure out how all this is going to continue playing out.
And that could all change by the time this video is done.
Exactly.
I have to check. This only has a 30-minute capacity on the video portion. So.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Every 30 minutes we have to reset the video because video cameras are 35 millimeter cameras or digital cameras or SLR cameras are not allowed to record longer than 30 minutes in the U.S. because they would then be called a video camera, which is taxed differently than an SLR camera. So
interesting.
So anyway, so we have to stop every 30 minutes for the video portion of this. So, okay, next topic because there was so much meat in that last section, but we're going to talk about.
You know what's nice is, what my dad's been going through. Like he's had. Him and his wife, he is the most beautiful, amazing wife ever. She's such a blessing in his life and my life and her whole family. Amazing.
Yes, she is.
Amazing human. She's a doctor and she's beautiful and she's tough and.
That's my wife. Yeah.
And she's she had, I don't even know all the medical terminology, so I'm not going to pretend, but she had a second brain surgery recently, and they were in Houston, and she's been having seizures. She was having seizures, and she was in and out of the hospital down here when they came home. And so my dad hasn't been present here. He's been worried. I've never seen the man so worried about somebody. It was scary times, scary.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's special for me because I haven't spent a lot of time with my dad since before Thanksgiving. So today's a special day. I'm happy he's here, and I'm happy Michelle's here. That means Michelle's good and getting healing and better. So
so thank you, God, for that. Yeah, just
blessing.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It's also great to have my wife be healing and doing great. I'm so grateful and blessed to have this unbelievable community of people around me that sent and provided so much loving care and prayers for her healing and to get better. And she is doing better. And I'm forever grateful for this. I'm so blessed. There's just so many extraordinary people around me in my life that made it possible so that I could support her. They were there for her, her work community, our work community, so many just unbelievable people, a part of supporting her and having her get better, including a great medical team up in Tampa, and the surgeon, neurosurgeon, Dr. Kim in Houston, and she's doing really good. So thank you for the love and thank you for the prayers, and especially thank you for my family, my ROP family. I mean, both inside and outside. The ROP family extends all across the world, but inside the salons and outside. Just blessed to have so many kind, loving souls. It just it really puts so much in perspective. You talked about how you'd never seen that level of fear, worry, concern. Like just she's my soulmate, my the love of my life. And there was a period of time there where I didn't know if I'd have her around, if I would ever speak to her again the way that we speak to each other, because she had a seizure and lost some of her and a TIA or a stroke, some different versions of what it's called, TIA. And at the time we didn't know that, and didn't know if her speech was coming back, or didn't know if her memory was coming back, and didn't know if I would be able to, or that her last memory of me was, hey, I have to go. And she had asked me to do something. I'll never forget this, because she said to me, this was after surgery number 2. She was healing great. Everything was going good. She was recovering way better than even the first surgery.
Yeah, they were in Houston felt like, they're like, oh, we're on our way back. I was like,
and she was just doing so good. And, ready to get back to CrossFit and just ready to go back to work. Just everything was, couldn't have been better. And it was right before Christmas, December 23rd. And I was leaving to go to Waterside. It was the first time I was going to leave her alone. We'd been together for, 32 straight days from the surgery on until we got back, to leave her alone to go and pick up her Christmas gift at Waterside. And while I was there, I got a phone call from her, and she couldn't talk. And I remember leaving. I mean, this was after, the emergency room and, I won't go into all the details of it, but not that it's personal or private, but she's doing better anyway. But I remember leaving, and I remember this impacted me so much, because realizing that how much every moment counts. She had asked me to do something, and I don't even remember what it was, but it was something, might have been something like, fix something, clean something up, whatever it was. And I was kind of like, I will. I'll take care of it when I get back. I have to go. Like, I really needed to go. But I felt like an annoying, I was an annoyed response. Like, I was kind of jerky when I said that. And I left, and then she called me, or tried to call me anyway, to get help. And when I realized that she couldn't talk and she couldn't communicate or even understand properly with this aphasia that she had, later on in the night, as she was away from me, because she was back in the emergency room and they had her intubated and she was being tested for, they were checking her with a CAT scan and MRI to see where or what was happening with the stroke, or the details of it. And I'm waiting and on my knees, literally in the lobby of the hospital, begging God, thinking, oh my gosh, I left. She's going to remember me. The last interaction we had was me kind of being a jerk, so, and it really hit me, like that, like how much every moment counts. And I'm so blessed and so lucky that, this is having a good outcome. But it really has me realize that, first of all, there's nothing is really a problem. I mean, there are problems, yeah, but really, is it a problem, like a life-altering problem? I mean, if you have your health, you can handle anything. If you have your health and you're okay, like, okay, that's where we start. Like, so I can, like every minute is a blessing. And I don't always think that, but, watch two people in that crazy video of Pennsylvania, these two neighbors, the neighbor that killed his two neighbors over shoveling snow. What about like shoveling the snow for your neighbor, helping your neighbor that way? Or, if the blessing that it is to be able to have a neighbor, to live in a neighborhood, to have snow, to see sunshine, to live in paradise. Okay, yeah, they cut you off. Okay, yeah, they drive slow, or they drive fast, or, I got a message on, the Nextdoor app in our neighborhood, and a guy had taken a picture of two kids, and he says, "Is this your kid? Is this your child? Because if it is, I'm warning you, these kids, I played ding dong ditch when I was a kid, but nowadays it's much more dangerous. And if these are your kids, you might want to have a talk with them."
That sounds like Naples.
Well, yeah. I mean, they ring a doorbell. Now you have
Now you have Ring. You can see exactly who it is.
Who did it, right?
And it's recorded.
Didn't have Ring back in the day, so you could do that. Light a paper bag full of whatever on, and then ring the doorbell and run. So I'm just blessed. So anyway, it is nice to be back, to be in. we're doing whatever we can, and I know some things have fallen through the cracks, and if they have, we're trying to pick up those pieces and doing what we can to make sure that everyone's experience around us, through us, with us, is a great experience. And I know that it isn't always. I know that we aren't perfect in every way, and whether that's with somebody working here or not.
We're not, and it's clearly evident. I feel like it's almost getting like we're in like it's busy right now. It's busy. It's busier than I don't know if I say this every year, but I feel like we're really busy right now. And we're limited staff. There's just always something that's a part of owning a business. Something always is happening, but we're just trying to figure out how to.
Yeah, and the town is busy. New people, a lot of new guests too. And actually, overall, business-wise, we are down. We haven't increased in business. We're down from last year, and that it was kind of peaked right about now before the news of the virus and things started, because it was in March that it really kind of exploded with stuff happened. But about this time last year. We were doing about 20% more business. We had more people too.
That's what I mean.
So we're doing, a business with fewer people.
Yes.
We have more people doing more than they were in the past. We've not as much availability. We're spaced out more. So it's stretching people. So it definitely is. But the community is growing. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, we could be busier. We could be doing more, but we don't have the staff. Yeah. And we do things differently too. I mean, our business model is very, very different from a typical salon, because there's talk of the $15. Well, not talk. I mean, I guess talk federally, but in the state of Florida, $15 an hour it did pass as a law, and that was voted on, and this past election. And how is that going to affect salons, or how's it going to affect businesses as a whole? But our model is basically very, very different. The salon industry has changed quite a bit over the last 20 years or so. It's shifted to this other model
generation.
Salon booth rental or suites, where there are actually a lot of independent salons within a salon, or they're separate. It's not one commission type salon or salary type salon where they're all employees. And that was a little bit of a problem during COVID, because when some of the relief packages went out, relief packages were based on a salon's payroll. So those are for employees, not 1099s, because 1099 is not considered an employee. A 1099 is a subcontractor, so they're a separate and not considered employees, so they weren't eligible for the same benefits. Also, 1099s don't pay into the unemployment program, so they weren't initially eligible for unemployment compensation, because there was they weren't a part of that fund. However, the federal government made changes for that. But the industry as a whole has changed in that there are fewer and fewer commission salons. Now, we're not a commission salon either. We're not a booth rental salon or a commission salon. We are a hybrid. It's a salary salon. So it's not the more you make, the more you sell, the more you make. In a commission salon, that's how it is. The higher the sales are, the more the stylist typically will make.
It's commission. That's totally dependent on their paycheck. Really,
100%. A lot of them are straight. Well, now they're not. There's a requirement that there's a minimum wage for those people.
Well, right. If they don't hit this amount, then they get paid minimum wage. That's who this will affect.
It will, and a lot of salons right now, in a lot of states right now, have a minimum amount for commission salons. But the commission salons are fewer and fewer. A lot of the salons have gone to this other model, which isn't really a salon. Then you become a landlord, basically, and it's kind of every man for himself. But there's no team. Well, how that affects the customer ultimately, here's the thing, because it might still look like a salon. It might still operate like a salon, has a salon name on it, but you've got independent businesses within a salon. Here's the difference, and I kind of look at it how it occurs in our culture and how it occurs in others. Now, I say ours is salary, or a version of that, where it's not dependent on a person's sales. Like their growth in our business isn't dependent on how much they sell. It's based on the retention or the happiness of the guest. Now, the guest the client doesn't have to go back to that stylist, but they have to stay within our business. So cross-refer them to somebody else who is more of a specialist. In our business, especially after spending a lot of time in the hospitals recently, I see that how medicine is very, very specialized. And, you can have one doctor who absolutely has very little knowledge of the neuro area, maybe some basics of the neurology, but their specialty is, as an internist or orthopedics or whatever it is. It's a completely different area. Now, they may have studied a little bit of neurology, or they did their neurology rotation in medical school, but it's not their area. So they would refer somebody who needs that help to somebody else. Well, obviously, hair is not medicine. I know there's a huge difference. I'm not making any comparison to that. I'm just referencing how the dynamics of the two are similar, in that hair can be a lot like that, in that there's people who specialize, they're better at certain things, or they have or more passionate about it.
Right.
So it's not just whatever gets in their chair they're going to do. If they're not 100% comfortable, or if it's not something they love, they can refer that person to somebody who's better at it. Just like in medicine, you'd want the best heart surgeon. You wouldn't want an orthopedic surgeon to be operating on your heart or your brain.
Right.
You wouldn't. Again, not brain surgery, it's just hair. Okay, it's not life or death, although some people think it is. And it could be for some people, life or death.
Well, and they have that option to refer it. If they're not if stylists within our business aren't comfortable doing something that they don't specialize in, and they say, hey, I think you should go to somebody else, then we're creating a happier guest, because you don't want you're going to have somebody that's not super amazing doing that. You're not going to have an amazing outcome. An amazing experience.
And that's what we want. We want to make sure you have a great experience, so you do come back, so that they're rewarded because you are going to come back. So yeah, they might be qualified to do a certain type of haircut. They might be okay at it, but if it's not their passion, they don't love it, or certain color or certain look, if it's a certain type of hair coloring that you want, that's just not something they're passionate about, or something that they love, or that they know they're not that good at, it's okay for them to refer that to somebody else. So that's a difference in the models. Okay, so how that affects us. So the $15 an hour whole issue, which is a big issue for salons across the country. Different states already have different things in place for that, but for it will likely push more salons to the model of, I don't even call them salons, really they're landlords, but the model of 1099 or booth rental or chair rental, because you're not controlling, not that a salon controls people, but you have a say in we're collectively as an organization with our 40 or 50 people working towards the same outcome, and that's to make every person happy that walks in the door. Whereas independently, if I'm a commission stylist, or if I'm a stylist working in a booth rental place, I have to make sure that if I'm booked for 3 hours for somebody's foils, that person pays for those foils that day, even if I don't like doing foils and I'm not good at it and it's not something I want to do. I'd prefer to do, root retouches, or I'd rather do 3 haircuts than, 1 foil. I have to do that day. I have to, because I don't eat. Right. I don't eat, and I can't pay the bills. So referring it out is going to cost me.
Or you're working for minimum,
Yeah, well, then the whole minimum wage thing, or the $15 or whatever that case is, for a salon, and I've noticed a lot of commission salons in the past years, is they pass on to generations and they go to the next generation. There's a lot of frustration between the baby boomer generation of hair salon owners who say, boy, I just can't deal with these millennials. I just can't take them. They're so selfish, and they want this, they want that, and they can't. They're so frustrated and so annoyed by it that they just throw in the towel and they say, forget it, as if that person is somebody that's not human. They're millennials, whole different classification, and
continue changing like that.
They're all human beings. I mean, whether it's Gen Z, Gen Y, millennial, baby boomers, human beings. Ultimately, human beings all have the same wants, needs, and desires.
Right, basically, right.
So because that type of salon is disappearing more, there's fewer of them, it's kind of sad for the industry, because hair schools put out a lot of stylists, or they graduate a lot of stylists, and those stylists, to make it in the industry, school is only a very small portion of it. There's another level of education with, they'll be qualified to cut hair, they'll be qualified to do those services.
They'll be licensed, but
they'll be licensed. Maybe not qualified, but licensed. They're licensed to all of them, because the licensing process in each state is different, but it's also based on passing a test. It's not actually doing
Right,
the work. It's
you're
passing
it's
a
not like
written
an
exam.
apprenticeship that you're learning, like you would go
Hands-on.
to electrical school and you would physically learn, and the hair isn't necessarily something you can necessarily learn like that. I feel like you have to have your hands in it and be around amazing people. And
Well, I mean, it's what we found is really good because they have the opportunity. Our apprentice program is where they can be shown the ropes while actually doing it and learning it from a mentor or somebody who is teaching them along the way while they're being paid.
well, and they do, associates do fairly well, and they're learning, they're preparing for their career, and it's really rewarding in of itself to see these associates grow, like watching like Javier, watching them learn, and that's pretty rewarding and amazing as well.
Yeah, well, and that's not the only way to do it because people can graduate school and go right into a booth rental place and start their own place.
People
They could do
yeah.
that. It's rare,
Yeah,
though.
very
It's
rare,
it's
yeah.
rare that they have the skill set to be able to be successful at it. And what usually happens is they aren't able to sustain. They're not able to earn enough money to continue along that path, and then they end up a huge percentage of hair school graduates are out of the business within 3 years. I want to say 80% within 5 years are not in the field anymore. So they go to school for that, and they're not even in the business
And
anymore. It's going to
cosmetology school is not cheap anymore, 20, 25.
$25,000. Yeah, it's not. It's a big investment. So, as far as what $15 an hour, so we're going to be there anyway. We're graduating to that, and I don't want people to be at the. I don't want people to be at the $10 an hour wage. We right now hire associates at $10 an hour, and then it's also a tip position, so they make tips on top of that. But I don't want them to do well at that position. The whole theory of it is I want them not to be associates for a long time. I want them to be motivated to get better, to grow and develop, to get graduated to the next level, so that they're not comfortable at that level. Now I know they have to survive, they have to eat, and they have to make car payments and house payments, and handle expenses. At the same time, I also now they're saying, okay, well you automatically need to give them $10,000 more a year so they sustain that minimum level. I just don't want to provide a huge level of comfort where they get comfortable at that in that range, and not that that's comfortable. I don't mean that you're sitting back on a lounge chair enjoying life.
Here's an issue that happens too. What happens is, within our business, we have associates who are associates, and they almost do too well because they make so much gratuities. Their stylists fall in love with them. They take care of them. So then they go onto the floor and they're not making they're making a little bit more hourly, but they're not making that cash gratuities anymore because they're not working with a busy stylist. And so they're like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. I want to keep doing that, so it creates a,
well, that's something we've always had to deal with, in that transition from those.
It's an awkward phase, but that motivates them. Well, it's kind of just like pain points as that's a part of your career. But I've seen, amazing things happen once you get through that spot.
Well, yeah, and even then, our success rate. We might hire 4 and 1 will be successful out of that too, or get through the program, because it does take something. It's the elite. It takes a high level of dedication. It takes a high level of
I just want to make sure.
humility. I think we're still good.
What time?
Yeah, it's 3:01.
Oh, 3:05 was when.
Okay, so we have the last segment of this, and then we'll move on to the next one. $15 an hour. It remains to be seen how it's gonna. My take on it is that it is gonna have an impact long term on what happens to graduates after school. That there won't be as many opportunities for them to be in a mentorship or an apprenticeship type program, because those programs are going to go away. They're not salons aren't going to be able to afford them or have them, or as I see salon owners be more and more challenged or frustrated with regulation or the industry as a whole, or whether they're blaming a generation of people that work differently or finding different ways to motivate them or develop them. I think they'll gravitate towards the landlord model of a salon, which is every man for himself. I kind of call it the flea market for hair.
I've seen so many salons, even locally, that I know of that are now doing that. I'm thinking, there's a lot of, that's, I feel like how it's going to continue.
Yeah, which is not, in the end, for me, as I see it, is not the best thing for the consumer, because you're actually not you're not always going to get the right or best person for your needs.
Well, and here's another thing I was going to say that we are able to do. If somebody's unhappy with their hair, we can, let's say somebody's done their hair, they're unhappy, they call us, they're upset, right? With that, we can send them to another stylist. We don't have to say, okay, you have to go back to this person so she can fix it. We can say, okay, clearly
when you're
that
both
wasn't
disgruntled.
Yeah, you're both like, I didn't, we can then be like, okay, let's start over fresh. We can send you to another location, and get you start over totally fresh. So it's, that's another benefit that you can't do that in another kind of,
No, no, it is a benefit of salary. So it's okay to come back too. You're not hurting anybody's feelings. We the end goal is we want to keep you happy that way too. So I think ultimately it could have the impact that way. And I'm not talking about the political aspect of it, just how it might affect specifically our industry here.
We follow all these Facebook groups, and he was like, look Facebook groups and look up salons questions and like questions that other owners have. And one of the biggest one.
Hold that thought. Let me check.
Within that owners group is all about the $15. People were freaking out because this is talking about federally. There was all different. This is for the group is all over the United States, and this is people from middle of nowhere that would have that are used to. The one lady was like, well, I pay $7, but that's because where they live. And
their market, their haircut prices could be a lot less too. So how would they
$15? So
the haircut could be $15. So how could they have an associate if the haircut is $15?
Right.
If they're doing 2 haircuts an hour, it's $30. So half of it's going to the associate, and $3, whatever numbers going to the rent, and then the supplies and the shampoo and the air conditioning and the other expenses. So can they really afford to a place that is paying $7 now?
They were freaking out. They were freaking out, and this is a group of salons that currently follow it's called Summit. So they follow the commission type thing. That's what they teach. And she was like, many people were like, I don't know if I can do this.
So you were saying that. For different pockets of the country. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Anyway, I will continue to follow along in those groups.
And what a lot of people were saying is how, well, it's okay. It'll go up over time, but still, even over time, for that little town, the lady was like, well, it doesn't matter if it's going up over time, so I'm just going to have to keep raising prices. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, and I'm sure the prices of a lot of things will go up. And money will lose its value more so than ever. Okay, I don't know if I want to do this one here right now, so I want to do the last.
Oh, and I figured out what I was going to talk about too.
Okay, well, let's do that. Let's do yours. Go ahead.
So, did you see the girl with the Gorilla Glue?
I did.
That was. Did you see she So this girl, I guess if you look at she didn't see the Gorilla Glue. On Gorilla Glue, it says you can't use it in your eyes or on your skin, but it didn't say hair. So she used Gorilla Glue, I believe, to put in extensions or something, or
right.
weave. Well, she's now she's suing Gorilla Glue. She went viral. She went
viral because she
couldn't get it out of her hair.
Right. And she had to go to the hospital or something, right?
Yeah. And she got plastic surgery out of it.
Oh, right. The plastic surgeon donated
and $20,000. And she now has a viral following from it. And it's just fascinating how our country works.
It's kind of a mistake, though, isn't it? I mean, wasn't it kind of a stupid thing to do?
Totally
hair, right?
It was stupid.
Okay, but she's making money out of it.
And one thing was she went and she put a down payment on a Benz it was just funny how just the world we live in.
And she's suing Gorilla Glue, okay, because they make glue, and it says don't use it on this body part, and she uses it on that body part.
No, it said don't use it on your skin
Oh,
or face or something, or eyes.
okay.
But it didn't say hair. So
Specifically,
that's where
it didn't say hair. Okay.
so that's where she has like some legal standing that she can sue
Wow.
them.
Kind of like how on cigarettes it says, "Don't smoke; it could kill you." Right? Thanks a lot. So that's why we have a lot of the laws in place that we have, and that's why they can't even have monkey bars on playgrounds anymore because.
But isn't it just so fascinating how every week there's something, like now this girl will have probably a following and she'll make a career out of this,
Well, good for her. I hope she learns. Maybe gets a little bit of common sense out of the deal too. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but from what I saw of it, I keep seeing Gorilla Glue show up everywhere now. All of a sudden, it's great for Gorilla Glue. I think they're getting a lot of PR out of it.
That's pretty good advertising.
Yeah, I mean they're I found that we have Gorilla Tape in our house, and I thought,
oh, I never even noticed it either. I never realized I'm recently moving and I was taping something and I was like, oh, this is Gorilla Tape. Yeah. And I never would have even cared to notice that it's great for branding purposes.
Yeah, I mean, she should be one of their mascots.
At least their glue will never move.
She needs to be. I mean, they could turn that into something big. She could be there.
Yeah, rather than having them sue her, they should.
Yeah, she's a brand ambassador for sure.
That's a good idea.
Speaking of brand ambassadors, I guess if there's anybody out there watching, if you have any questions about anything or comments, comments about the things that we're discussing or anything from this area, we do live in paradise. We live in one of the most beautiful areas. So if you're watching this from anywhere else in the world, and is there anything you want us to show you or anything you want to know about our area too, you write some comments about that or leave us a question down there, and we'll make sure we hit that up on the next
My favorite
version.
thing to do being in Naples in these times, I don't know, as a pastime. On Facebook, there's all these like groups that I feel like weren't there previously. It's amazing how you're able to connect with, just see things that show up in Facebook or Instagram, whatever. But so there's these Facebook groups, like a mom's group, Moms of Naples, or Naples Restaurant Word of Mouth, or Naples Hidden Gems, and it's so amazing to me to see all the people that are moving here. I mean, it's incredible, and seeing people say they're moving here, it's just amazing.
Well, you wonder why. I mean, come on, especially exacerbated by the fact that there's this pandemic that, part of the country is shut down or about to be shut down or under the threat of being shut down, or you can't go out to, being a restaurant in New York is, got to be, I don't know how you're still around. I mean, I feel for you. I just can't even imagine what that's like, having no control. I mean, literally, you became an entrepreneur so that you didn't do it for the money, because most entrepreneurs don't do it for the money, and they're not making a lot of money. There's a certain level of freedom in it, in being able to make those choices to grow things and why you want to grow them, to fulfill your heart or your passion, to be able to grow and develop people like we get to do here. It's probably one of the things I love the most, and it has nothing to do with profit. We don't have high profit margins. It's not about the money at all. It's literally about leaving a legacy and having a huge impact on the world, that, being kind, being loving, being empathetic, and having people around me who can love life today. Now, whatever the circumstances are. So how did I start talking about that? Well, because we live in paradise. So not only about the fact that we're open, and whatever your beliefs are in governors and how they operate, we're able to operate in Florida safely without the mandate of them saying that we should or shouldn't do it a particular way. We're doing it according to all the guidelines and with the proper social distancing. And it's sunny. It's hot. I'm sweating. It's February 15th.
And of course, the ACs at 2 locations go out the 2 hottest days of winter.
Yeah, another one of the big breakdowns of the week. 2 hottest days. We had a cold spell there for a little while.
It was
AC
really
was fine.
cold.
Didn't need AC.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden,
and they were big breakages. Okay, like big things that could happen.
Not just the overflow valve.
Not
tripping
just
the breaker.
yeah.
No, this was like the real deal. So happened all in the same week. So, we had some hot haircuts happening. They have hot yoga. Well, we had hot haircuts last week.
And the masks, I felt so bad. With blow dryers going, it gets hot.
Yeah. I think that the dress was the attire was a little different last week. If you
Yeah.
you kind of wondered whether it was the Hooters of hair or something. A different version of it. Maybe not Hooters, well, legs of hair. I didn't see it. I don't know. I wasn't there
He
when that
wasn't
happened.
here. Oh,
It was at this location where the sun's coming in
He's
really
here.
bright, really hot, and it's at the other at Bayfront, which is still being worked on. But
we're working on it.
comments, feedback, anything you want to add or say or share, disagree, agree, it doesn't matter. We're just chatting it up, and an opportunity for my beautiful daughter and I to have a conversation about what we're going through, what's happening in life, and what the community and the world needs right now.
Something that I've been going through as a young woman in a third generation, and I am a millennial. So, within this business, we have people that have been here forever. I mean, a long time, years, and they're older, and they worked for my grandfather. And then we have people who are newer. It's just a variety of people. So, with my dad had everything going on with Michelle. I feel like I've had to step up in different areas. And what I've realized, how many little things were often put in his lap, that like little things that I can handle. And I've been learning and growing how to handle different things that I think I had no other choice because he wasn't here. So, it's amazing as I'm growing up as a woman, learning leadership skills like him, because you can be a leader and be one of those people that are not a leader. If you're as an owner or something, you can be one of those people that are mean and tell people what to do, and that's just not who I am. That's not who he is. That's not what I've learned. That's not who I want to be. So learning how to work with people, work with employees without him is been quite different. But I'm happy he's here today.
Yeah, well, you got thrown into learning, and one of the things that's different also about any of the leaders in our culture and our family and our businesses is there's a difference in leadership style or management style. And one of the things is so important is that as a leader, we serve the team. We're here to serve them, not to dictate to them and to tell them what, how, who, and, because they have the answers. They know. We've got to give them the support of what is it they need to fulfill on their passion and their love. And they're amazing artists that put out some fabulous work, just extraordinary work. And they have big hearts, and they love to share, and they love to mentor and educate and make people feel good, and to share their skill with people. They love it. They're passionate about that. So our role is to make sure that they have a great environment to do that, not tell them how to do it or when to do it or how to, they'll find those ways.
And
so
what we don't have like an HR team. Most companies, they have HR, they have everything. It's literally just us, and every other day is different. So who knows? And so we're just so what it's been, it's enabled us to teach employees as this has happened. The most of them know the answer. Sometimes people are waiting to get an answer from him, like, oh well, can I do this? Can I fix the toilet? Can I fix the sink? And like, it's just allowing people to step up, and they want to be leaders too. And that creates the feeling that this is their home too. Take care of whatever you need to take care of.
It's a shift in our culture, I think, that's happening also, where we don't need four layers of managers to handle things, because this is their home, this is our home, and we're shifting this thing. Okay, you need a chair, your chair's or you need it, the lighting is not right. Order it, fix it, get the estimates, and maybe you don't have time to do that, but or we need to bring somebody else in. We need to you need to change the schedule around. We have so many who've been doing it so long and are such leaders within the organization, to just allowing people to, what it really came down to was I was gone. Like I had to be gone. I was like, listen, just do whatever it takes, handle it, do it the ROP way, follow your heart. It doesn't mean and the fact is, things got done more efficiently and better with me being away and allowing people to handle whatever came their way. And a lot of stuff is coming everybody's way, but people
Well,
got
and
better at
that's
fulfilling what it is.
even what I've realized, because even me, I'm one person, and I often want to make sure every guest is taken care of the way I would take care of them. I want to make sure everything's done the way I would do it. And what I'm learning is that not everybody's going to do everything the way I would do it, but the fact that they're able to feel, like I think about at the Village, like this, Sarah, my girl Sarah, she's been making sure things are Dilma, like taking care of things without me sitting there. I could sit there and I could micromanage it, and I could be like, no, don't say that, say it like this, and just allowing people to be who they are, is much healthier and empowering,
Yeah, well, you see that the humanity of people, just the extraordinary humanity of people, that it's in everybody. It's just a matter of, how do we empower them, inspire them, or give them the right environment that all that comes out. So whether that's as a guest or whether it's as a coworker, an employee.
And I have to say one more thing. Okay, so we're here at the Promenade right now, and last week when the AC was out, it was hot. I mean, at one point I think it said like 86.
Bayfront's there going, hey, it's still freaking hot here right now. Okay, those of you who are at Bayfront, I know you're saying that too right now.
Well, time to see this.
Okay.
The air will be fixed. So sorry about that, guys. But they have these windows here, and it makes it even hotter. So it was me, Christy, and Krista, and it was like at the end of the day, the hottest time of the day is like 3-4 o'clock, and there was a mistake on the book. These guests walked in and it wasn't on there, and they're hot, they're aggravated, it just doesn't create the best day, excitement in the day. And but it was just this most amazing energy that was created, because I was stressed out trying to get everything fixed, wanted to get it fixed, get it better, and Christy and Krista are like, just we'll figure it out. And this energy, this is what I mean. This is what is so special and amazing. They just took Christy, who's like a senior stylist, then we have Krista, who's younger and still learning. Typically, Christy jumped in and was like, I'll help her. She can't do all that by herself. And everybody was booked, and I don't know how we did it, but it's amazing to see how they worked together.
Well, it's also different than saying, who booked this? Why did they book this? I can't believe they would book this. I'm sorry, we can't do you right now because whoever booked this wrong. I'm going to talk to her. Now, you're going to have to come back next week. Oh, you're here on vacation. You're leaving tomorrow, and you came here to get your hair done for your trip. Well, I'm sorry. We're just going to have to figure out who this. I'm so mad at her. I can't believe. I'm going to go to the back room and call.
And it's funny because my username is logged in on like 10 people's phones and on the computers, so my username is used everywhere. So I get blamed for a lot. and so it's just funny that.
Well, it's always your fault.
The automatic response is,
of course,
whose fault isn't? But immediately to see as somebody that's been doing in hair for, she's Christy's booked. She worked 2 days a week. She's booked every half hour, and here she is. She has such a caring, loving heart. Didn't even question it. Went and took Krista's guest to help her because Krista was behind. It was hot, just the shift in energy, and there was none of that. Who did this? Who did that? You spend 10 minutes talking about it. She just
handling it with grace and love and taking care of people, just doing the right thing. So, and at whatever level people are. So, all right, that's gonna kind of wrap it up for us. Whatever episode this is, we're gonna call it a close to this one, and.
We could talk
soon.
forever. We talked too much.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I know, but I mean, sometimes we can. I know we can.
We could. Well,
we'll talk
see.
on the phone, and it'll be like an hour and a half later, and I'm like, okay, dude, I gotta go now.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just a moment in time. So we get to have this conversation this week, and next week or whenever the next episode is, it will be the next version of whatever's happening in life.
And who knows how that's gonna go? Because last time we closed this up, we said the same thing.
So please leave some form of a comment if you really listen to it and you listen to it to this far, and you do leave a comment.
Tell
if you
us where
actually
you're from.
leave a comment, hey, if you at this point, whatever platform you see this on, because I don't know if it's going to be whether you hear it in podcast form or if you see it in video form, which could be either Facebook or it could be a sliver on TikTok or it could be a sliver on Instagram.
YouTube.
Which one?
YouTube.
YouTube. Could be on YouTube too. So whatever platform that is, if you leave a comment by the end of March, I'm going to send you something. I'll put that in the address there in the reply, the comment reply to you. Whether it's
He means it. He does. He does. He
yeah, we will, because I'm testing you to see, and the first 10 especially are going to get something ultra generous. Watch out. I will surprise you, and it's not going to be something that you say, oh, well, big deal, so what? It's not like a coupon.
Like
okay?
people will be like, giveaway. I'm giving away this comb.
Yeah, like a comb that we got for free from a vendor. No, it'll be
Sometimes I see
significant.
giveaways like that, and I'm like,
No, it's real. I'm not going to mess with your time. I'll make it for real. Okay. But thanks for hanging out with us for a while. We'll see you real soon. Have an amazing day. Love you. Appreciate you. No matter what you think. Okay. I love you anyway. Have a great day.
bye. Thank you.
Bye.